Hello, everyone. Today, the June 10th, 2021, we experience and witness a very powerful new moon and annular solar eclipse, which is happening in Gemini. Now, this is a North Node eclipse. North Node eclipses, unlike South Node eclipses, are connected with the future. Something new comes up and changes the trajectory of a destiny. North Node eclipses push us out of our comfort zone, but they also come with opportunities for those who are ready to seize them and make their life or give their life a whole new meaning. So at a North Node eclipse, we create a new karma. You may feel that nothing obvious may happen because solar eclipses, much like the new moons, are rather subtle. However, if we were to accurately trace the most important points of our life, we would probably find out that they originated sometimes in and around or at a solar eclipse. This is not just your regular solar eclipse, it's an annular solar eclipse. In an annular solar eclipse, the disk of the moon totally covers the sun, just like in a total eclipse. But because the moon is a bit farther away from the earth than usual, there is a ring of sun around the edges of the moon, which looks like the ring of fire or like a halo. Now, a halo has a deep spiritual meaning, symbolizing resurrection or the idea that what is holy and divine, the light, cannot be overcome by darkness. So why are annular eclipses different? To better understand an annular eclipse, solar eclipse, let's come back to the anatomy of the new moon and the solar eclipse. Normally, the sun and the moon have the same size, of course, as seen from the earth. That's how eclipses are possible. So a solar eclipse always occurs at the new moon when the sun and the moon are in the exact same area of the sky. On a new moon, the moon is invisible because it is so close to the sun that we just cannot see it. The sun outshines it. Now, the new moon has a solar and a yang energy. That's why the new moons are associated with new beginnings. Yang energy is always associated with starting something new. While full moons are associated with culminations, it has a lot of yin energy and they make things happen and you feel as if it is fated. So a solar eclipse is a special new moon, and yes, the sun and the moon are still conjunct. They're still in the same area of the sky. The moon should be invisible because it's outshined by the sun, right? However, because the sun and the moon and the earth are aligned in a straight line and the moon is in between the sun and the earth, the moon covers the disk of the sun. So what was supposed to be day becomes night. What was supposed to be the victory of light becomes the victory of fate. The moon outdarkens the sun. That's why we say eclipses are fated. A solar eclipse is a fated new beginning, something that happens to us and can present itself in the form of an opportunity or a demand to adjust to a new situation. So if we are to be flexible, we can actually take advantage of the changes that present themselves. We walk through the doors of opportunity that the fate opens for us, or providence opens for us. And in this fertile union of the sun and the moon, something special, something divine emerges. The annular or halo eclipses are windows into the divinity, are windows into through which the opportunities present themselves, and it is up to you how to grab them. So have you ever thought why saints or important spiritual or religious figures are depicted with a halo around their heads? Well, to draw attention to their message, a halo is the sign of a divine message, a very important message, a message that is coming from the universe, and it cannot be overlooked. Now, the solar eclipse is in Gemini, along with the Mercury retrograde, and the solar eclipse and Mercury retrograde are squaring the Neptune. So the eclipse is at 19 degree Gemini, very potent, and it's conjuncting Mercury retrograde. And this Gemini eclipse conjunct Mercury is very, very interesting because Mercury is the ruler of this eclipse. Mercury is the ruler of that house where the eclipse is occurring. So when the ruler of the eclipse is conjuncting the eclipse is much more potent and powerful because it's on the same frequency with the energy of that particular astrological season. Now, Mercury is retrograde, bringing a deep spiritual message that will change us at our core level. So the lights in your mind may be foggy. You may not be thinking clearly, and you may not be getting a clarity. But the trace of that light that remains will guide us to discover what is otherwise invisible to the eye. So even if you're feeling blank in your mind, yet you are aware that the mind is blank and you know how to scribble on that blank board. So listening to your intuitions, listening to your sixth sense, feeling the things that are happening to you, you can move forward. So in the heart of the sun, we are called to find answers from deep within by connecting to a soul or our higher energies. Now, Mercury has the freedom, or I would say the history, to travel through all the worlds, the heaven, the earth, and the underworld. Similarly, a mind can travel into the past, present, and future, or from the superconscious, the conscious, and the subconscious. So when Mercury is conjunct an eclipse and our awareness becomes razor sharp. So right now we have the unique ability to communicate with the different parts of our brain and with the brain of the universe, the brain of infinite possibilities. The most important aspect the eclipse makes, apart from the conjunction with Mercury, is the square to Neptune. Now, Mercury-Neptune squares in general have a reputation for making you confused. Understand me, Mercury is all about the facts, but we can see with our eyes what we can decode with our senses. Now, Neptune is all about our feelings. It's everything we cannot see, our intuition, imagination, and creativity. This is what we feel. Now, multiply the Mercury sensorial inputs coming together to create something that hasn't existed before. So the Mercury grasps what the Neptune is feeling. And together they synergize to create something that probably you've never created before or never thought about before. Dreams are a good example of Neptune's process of rearranging existing information to create something new. Dreams can be confusing, we all know that, but dreams can also be illuminating. What's not fully processed during the day emerges at night to find new paths of exploration and expression. Dreams actually help us navigate through life and find new answers to our old problems. Now, Neptune rules the process of imagination and visualization. Visualization and imagination equals to creating possibilities. So once this new image is created in our minds, we can then go ahead and pursue it and materialize it in the real world. But we need to embrace our feelings, which are activated by Neptune energies first and foremost. Now, Neptune also dissolves things that are otherwise difficult to untangle. Again, let's take the example of dreams. During the day, we have millions and zillions of thoughts and mental imprints. If we didn't sleep, we would actually go crazy and run out of the power of our brains. So when we sleep, when we are rested, those thoughts and mental imprints that are not necessary or relevant are deleted or moved to the cellars of our psyche. We can retrieve them when needed, but right now we need to declutter our conscious mind. Now, who decides what's important and what's to be archived? Well, Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Venus is what matters to us at a personal level. Neptune is what matters to us in the context of the world we live in at a meta level. So Neptune helps us to understand what's important and working in our lives and what needs to be decluttered or archived. imagination, creating new possibilities, and dissolving what's no longer needed are the two important functions of Neptune. For the next 15 days, at this Mercury and Neptune flavor adding to the solar eclipse in Gemini, we need to ask our Neptune to dissolve, or probably have a conversation with these planets of ours, asking Neptune to help you dissolve what's no longer needed, but also invite him to create new possibilities for you. Listen, pay attention to what Mercury retrograde has to tell you. It's not that you haven't heard it before, but this time you may discover new nuances and deeper meanings. Finally, let the union of the sun and the moon guide you to that part of yourself that you need to reinvent and recreate, thus creating a self-belief in yourself. You are the result of the billions of years of evolution, yet you are not your past. Just like the planets and the galaxies, you are in constant motion and evolution. That is where, when we say that we are evolving by the day and becoming a better versions of ourselves as we grow in age. Now, understanding a bit more about communication, partnership, and receiving wisdom, the annual solar eclipses meaning are shadows. That means the part of us that is not visible to the others will show itself in our behavior, and other people are going to experience it. Now, during this eclipse, how we behave matters, how we present ourselves matters, because this is an initiating eclipse being conjunct with the North Node. And how we behave during it will set the tone for our future experiences in this lifetime and possibly other lifetimes to come. It's like sowing good karma is important to do during an eclipse like this one. And because it is in Gemini, how we communicate or how we articulate our speeches matter. This eclipse also includes a Mercury retrograde period, so we may be called to clean up the old miscommunications that we may have had with other people. So extending olive branches to the people whom we really want to associate, or probably just changing your paths. Going deeper through the study of asteroids, we understand that Juno, which is an asteroid of commitment, is retrograde. So it conveys that this is a period which has thrown all of us into a time of relationship retrospection, where we are reflecting on our past relationships and where we are now and where do we want to go. Now, Pallas Athena, another asteroid, which we say asteroid of wisdom, and Vesta, which is an asteroid of spirituality, squares the eclipsed sun. They are wanting us to revert inward and listen to our inner truth and overcome any ego that is obstructing our growth. The key is to keep our lines of communications open, not take people's word personally, have zero expectations from people, develop confidence and your self-belief by speaking your truth in a very calm, detached manner and staying away from being aggressive. Check yourself when your feelings are becoming aggressive or your words are becoming aggressive. Allow the download happening in your mind, whatever is being created in your mind or the thoughts that are coming in your mind. And in today's world, we can actually put them down. You all have your smartphones. So create a file on the smartphones where you pen down your thoughts. Because Neptune wants you to feel and be able to visualize your future in a very, very positive manner. The eclipse wants to declutter and be open to new realities, which will help you carve your road to success and achievement. So don't forget to grab this opportunity, realign yourself, declutter yourself, and be open to creating the world the way you want. Stay blessed.